is the lowest score that each team gets.
Yes, you can't miss. If we, next time we get a chance to look at that scoreboard, we'll tell you how it goes up there. You see Iowa State score 46 on the top, and then 70 is the partial score below it. Oklahoma gets the middle there, 44-80. And Nebraska over on the right, 45, and then the 50 down below. Those are the scores, and we'll be able to keep you up. As you say, we don't have to worry about one being thrown out. That scoreboard can be kept up throughout the meet. Now we move to the pommel horse. There's a familiar face. You saw him in the floor exercise. That's David Wright of Oklahoma, who will be first up in this event. David Wright of Oklahoma. The all-arounders, Oklahoma has just one. He's Mike Sims, who will be in all the events, and he'll be coming up in the last position for Oklahoma in this event.
Okay, here's David Wright on the pommel horse, and Doug, with the new scoring system, the first two competitors from each team on the horse are going to be very critical. Does a backmore mount into circles, and he did a moor and lost his balance forward. That'll cost him at least half a point. Travels down to the end.
Or rather, you're showing us what you mean right there.
Well, that can't happen. You just can't afford to have that happen. Scissor hop, back into center, circles, travels down to the end, and a loop off. Okay, not a real strong exercise, Doug, and at the same time, that fall is going to hurt him. The problem is, right now, with a low score on that first routine, you can lose 2 points on your team score. Let's watch what happened. He does a backmore mount. Did that pretty well. Then he goes for a moor, and it looks like his shoulders get too far out in front, and he just loses his balance forward. And he knew it when it was going, so there's nothing he could do about it.
Well, I would think I'd put a different kind of pressure on the people following, too. They know that they might be needed for a couple of extra tenths.
Yes, most definitely. But at the same time, it puts a lot of pressure on the first guy up, too, because he knows that his points count.
There's Russ Talecki. He's the head judge of the four here, comparing his scores with the others, and you can tell that he had a 7-6 in front of him there.
The scores for David Wright, 7-6, 7-2,
7-6, 7-2, 7-3, and 7-8. So the score is 7.45. And you see Oklahoma took a little gas on that opening.
Yeah, they did.
Here's Brett Finch, the all-arounder from Iowa State.
Mounts with a circle moor. Circles, travels to the end, hop back to the center. Another moor. His form is pretty good. He's swinging pretty nicely. Hop back in. Breaks, leg break. Looked like he had his pants caught there almost in his hand for a second. Scissor work. Twisting scissor. Back to circles. Travels down to the end. And a loop with a half. Pretty good routine for Brett. I'll tell you what, Doug, he didn't have a lot of difficulty. He had fulfilled most of his requirements, but again, just as important is that he hit clean and he got through his exercise. That's right. And that first man is very important. Here's his half circle moor mount. He travels down to the end. You'll see him hop right back into the center. Two-handed hop back into circles. He does a moor. Back into circles. He's going to travel down again, and he will hop back in. Breaks into his leg work. That's a back scissor or reverse scissor. And then right into forward or regular scissor. You have to do both scissors in an exercise. It's required. You have to do front and back. And a half.
Quite a bit of range in his scores here. 8-7. 2 8-5s and a 7-8. Well, knock out the high and low, and it's 8-5 for Brett Finch. A little below his season's best, but not bad for Brett. Here is Mike Bowers of Nebraska, one of the twins.
It's two backmores all the way down to the end, and had a little trouble there, as we can see. Backmore into the center. Breaks into a flare. Good extension on his leg work. Mike's a very good pommel horse worker. Circles. More back, more down to the end. And a loop with a half. Very nice exercise. Had that one problem right there, Doug. And looked like he was a little bit off balance, but at the same time ended up banging into the horse and stopping. So
He had a little problem, too, on the floor, and I know he's a little discouraged with himself at this moment.
It's kind of it's called a spindle, an inward twist, and didn't quite have enough extension to get over that pommel from the two back moors coming down to the end. The back moor up. Very nice extended flare. Into his regular scissors. Back scissors. Nice moor.
Here come the scores. 8-8, 8-8, 8-7, and 8-6. So it's 8.75 for Mike Bowers. He's done as high as a 9.45 this year. Here is Aníbal Hernandez of Oklahoma. First time we've seen him.
Back moor into the center. Bailey. Looks like he swings a very nice pommel horse. Little problem there, though. Leg break. Scissors back into circles. Travels to the end. There's a loop around, walk around, and a loop off. Okay, and Aníbal had a pretty good set going at the beginning, Doug. Looked like he was in good shape, and then all of a sudden he kind of lost it. And again, as you'll see on the scores when the event totals come in, that can't happen. You just can't afford to have that happen.
He was the top gymnast in Puerto Rico, now a freshman at Oklahoma.
So he had a nice back moor mount, and that's called a Bailey. Very nicely done. His form is very good. Gets back, and all of a sudden it looked like he picked his hips up a little too high and then just lost his circle swing and ended up sitting on the horse, and that will cost him severely.
Budding gymnast or two there, those small ones. Part of the brave crowd, and it's a good crowd at Hilton Coliseum on as you may very well know, a terrible day on Saturday, the 23rd of January. 8-2, 8-4, 7-8, and 7-9. So the score will be 8.05 for Aníbal Hernandez. Here is Rick Atkinson again.
Circle moor. That was a Russian moor, nicely done. Russian travels to the end, back stockily in. Here's Rick's leg break. Very nicely done, and he's getting through the exercise quite well so far. Scissor hop, turns back into circles. He'll be preparing for the dismount, travels to the end. There's a walk around and loop with a half. Nice routine for Ricky Atkinson. And once again, besides the team score, of course, he's also involved in the all-around event, where every event that he performs in is added up to get his all-around score. So he's going to be in good shape on that one, Doug.
Rick Atkinson, second man up. Here we're going to take another look at him. He had a 9.55 on the floor.
Here's his leg break. Breaks into a flare. Two of them in a row. Back cut. It's a back scissor, reverse scissor. Breaks into his front scissors. Two of those, and then a half twist.
Here come the scores. 9-2, 9-2, 9-0, 8-9.
Looked like he let his shoulders drift too much, and consequently was not able to continue with his circle. We'll maybe get a chance to look at that again, Doug, but that's very unfortunate. Not only the fact that it's going to hurt his team score, but again, also his all-around score. Jumps back in, hops back into the center, circles to a moor, breaks, leg break, very nice. Some front scissors, and a back scissor. Back into circles. Now he's going to travel to the end, walk around, and a loop with a half.
Trouble.
Yeah, gee, that's too bad.
It really is. Jim Mikas of Nebraska. He had a 9-2 on the floor exercise, but I know he's not at all happy with what happened here. in the pommel horse. Let's take a look again.
Okay, starts, does a back moor mount, very nicely done. He comes back with a very difficult Bailey. Now he's going for a back moor downhill, and it looks like all of a sudden his shoulders got way far forward, lost his grip there a little bit, consequently was not able to stand, and that'll cost him at least half a point.
Jim Micus, he has an 8.6, an 8.3, 8.5, and another 8.3. So that gives him 8.4 with the top and bottom scores removed. 8.4 for Jim Micus of Nebraska. And here is Robbie Mahurin of Oklahoma.
He did a back moor mount, comes back with a Bailey, which is another back moor on the pommel, and does a hop on the end and a care into the center. Now here's his leg work. Back scissor, back into circles, travels to the end, where he does a walk around and a loop with a half. Pretty good exercise, Doug. And of course, Oklahoma at this time needed that exercise. He didn't have a tremendous amount of difficulty, but as we said, his consistency again here is very important for the team score.
His highest score of the year was 8.5. We'll take a look at this one. Robbie Mahurin.
Here's front scissor, comes back with a back scissor, back into circles. Now he's going to move to the end with a travel, and he does kind of a little hop on the end or a walk around and a loop with a half twist. Pretty good finish for Robbie. Nice exercise for Robbie Mahurin.
And the scores will be up here shortly. The head judge, Russ Telecki's comparing them now. He sees an 8.8. He himself gave an 8.2. There's an 8.5 and an 8.6. And so it's 8.55 for Robbie Mahurin of Oklahoma. Now Mark Bowers, the other half of the twin combination.
Right.
This one from Iowa State.
Circle moor, Bailey, back moor downhill, front end stock all the way out to the end. Very nicely done. Comes back into the center. Nice leg break. Mark's very fine pommel horse worker. He's back with circles, moving to the end. Do a walk around and a fall. That's unfortunate. Right at the end of the exercise.
And it's the first little slip that the Cyclones have made.
That's right. And he jumps back up with a circle loop with a half. That's really too bad, Doug. Besides, he had a very nice exercise going. The point at which it happened will substantially hurt his score.
There it is. We'll get another look here. Maybe we'll get as far in as that break. Let's see what happened.
Here's his leg work. Now he's going to be doing circles, and then he'll move down to the end in preparation for his dismount. And I think you can see what happens here. He goes up a little high right there. At this point, he kind of separates his leg, and it looks like he just lost his balance. He was leaning back a little bit, and in order to compensate, he had to lean forward with his shoulders and lost his balance. And
scores 8.4, 8.2, and 2 8.6s. So his score will be 8.5. And he's done as much as a 9.4 this year, and so you can tell what that little jolt hurt.
Oh, for sure.
Here is John Balloff, first time up for Nebraska.
2 circles on the pommel, travels down behind his back. Very difficult exercise. He's doing more things on one pommel than most people are able to do on 2. He's one of the specialists for Nebraska. Back in his leg work, front and back scissors, backward down to the end. A loop with a half, very nice exercise.
Nicely done. That's John Balloff. He is a specialist on the Nebraska team. He's done as much as a 9.65 this year.
Yeah.
Take a look again at a good routine.
Seems very obvious with the type of difficulty that John has. Just see how many skills he's performing on one pommel at one time. Here's his leg break. Nice and extended, good stretch. And Nebraska can use his score at this time. They need a nice big score here, and I think John's going to get them a good one.
He's a junior from Elmhurst, Illinois.
Nice extension on the circles. Backward to the end.
9.5, 9.4, 9.5, 9.1. So that's 9.45. And Nebraska did need that.
Very good exercise for John Balev.
Scott Wilbanks of Oklahoma is coming out now. You know that Francis Allen at the beginning of the year thought he had the best pommel horse squad in the country for Nebraska.
Here's Scott. Travels to the end, walks around, hop on the end, front into a moor, another moor. He's banging around a little bit, but he's hanging in there tight. He's doing a good job of saving this exercise and coming out with a good set. His leg work. He's going to travel down to the end, and a loop of the half. Good exercise for Scott Wilbanks. You know, Doug, Scott is a very fine all-around performer. He's coming off of a little bit of a ankle injury, and you can see he's limping just a little bit. Actually, his two best events are floor exercise and vaulting, which he's unable to perform in at this time. So that's really unfortunate. Here's his pommel horse, which he did a good job with. The fact that he had some bobbles on the exercise, but saved the set and got through, and that will, of course, considerably help his score. Here's his leg work. Front scissors, good extension. Coming back. Back scissor.
Here come the scores for him. 8-5, 8-5, 8-4, 8-6. So it's an 8-5 for Scott Wilbanks, who, by the way, is another of these 4-point students. He's from Houston, Texas. Here is Dave Smeedle. He saw him do a 9-2 on the floor.
Dave's the team captain. Backstock in. More back on one pommel, very nicely done. Travels to the end, hops back into the middle. Another more, leg break, some front scissors. Travels circles, travels to the end, loop around. And boy, did he save that set. Really good routine for Dave Smeedle. He was definitely in trouble. There's no doubt about it, Doug. He should have been on the floor. And Dave's a little bit stronger than some of the other pommel horsemen, perhaps, and he was able to save it.
See where it went wrong.
You can see it. He travels down to the end, and he loops around. He's very low right there, and boy, did he pick that up. Just a real great effort. Super job.
Dave Smeedle, captain of the Iowa State Cyclone team. There you see the chalk. Very much part gymnastics. Here come the scores for Smeedle. 8-9. He has a 9-2 and 2 9-0s. So that makes it a 9-0.
Tell you what, Doug, he could have been on the floor real easy on that and been down about 8-3.
A 9-0 for Dave Smeedle. And here is Frank Hibbett of Nebraska.
Here's Frank, very nice pommel horse worker. Two back moors in the same pommel. Comes back into the center. Very big leg break. All the way through to a flare doing a moor at the same time. Comes into the back scissor. Good extension. Picks back up into circles. Back moor to the end. Back out to the end. Hop, loop, loop of the half. Okay, pretty good exercise for Frank. He had a few bobbles there and some form breaks, but again, Doug saved the exercise, came through and hit all the skills and got through without any major deductions, so he's going to get a pretty good score for that set.
Frank Hibbets, junior from Colorado Springs, Colorado. We're going to get another look at Frank's pommel horse here in the Iowa State, Oklahoma, Nebraska meet.
It's a hop on the end, a little trouble there, but he saved that. Loop, loop of the half, and a good finish.
2 years ago in the Big 8 Invitational, he scored a 9-7, which was the best he's ever done. Coming into this year, and he's made a 9.65 once. Scores 9-1, 9-0, 8-8, 9-1. So 9.05 for Frank Hibbets. And now an all-arounder from Oklahoma, Mike Sims.
These last three routines, one from each team, is going to be very important because they're going to be looking for some good scores here. So Mike is back more to the end, walks uphill, back more uphill, and two loops on one pommel, circles on one pommel, brushing more to the end, breaks into his leg work. He's got a good set going so far, Doug. His form is good, his extension is good, and he's got plenty of difficulty. Backward to the end with a hop and a nice loop with a half. Good exercise, Doug, and especially the fact that Mike is their all-around competitor for Oklahoma, and he's one of their best pommel horse men.
And that usually, wouldn't you say, is the weak event for all-arounders?
In most cases, of course, you can't say that about people like Bart Connor or Kurt Thomas or Jim Hartung, because in most cases, that's their best event. But normally that is unusual. But Mike is one of the new breed that excels on the pommel horse.
And there he is in our replay.
Very nice exercise, good extension on that backward, and does 2 pommel loops. Back into the center. Good routine for Mike
Sims. He got good scores, too. 9-7, 9-3, 9-5, and 9-5. That is a 9-5. And that puts him right up on top in the pommel horse. Here is Iowa State's specialist, Rob Green, who has had a high of 9.55 this year. In in December, I believe, he did have a 9.55 to belie the graphic you just saw.
Back more. He's traveling to the end now. He's a back more uphill. And he's got a few leg breaks, but he's hanging in there pretty good. Here's his regular scissors. Breaks back into circles. Travels down to the end. Walk around and a loop with a half. Good exercise for Rob. He had a few form breaks, but again, at the same time, he held in there, finished his exercise, and he's going to come up with a pretty good score because of it.
He's from Glenbard West High School in Glen Ellen, Illinois.
Okay, here's front scissor. Nice extension on that one. Very nice on that one. Picks back up into circles. Moves to the end. Does a walk around on the end. And a loop with a half twist for a finish. And a nice exercise for Rob.
It's Rob Green. There'll be one more man up on the pommel horse. It'll be Scott Johnson, the Nebraska all-arounder. And we'll try to catch you up on what the team score is as it goes, too. 9-1 is up twice. There's a 9-2 and an 8-9. That makes the score 9.10 for Rob Green.
It was a pretty good score for Rob, and I'll tell you, there's a lot of pressure on Scotty right now. Normally, he's got Phil and Jim Hartung to come up after him with some high scores, so Scott's got some work to do. Very nice mount. Back down the end, hop to the center, back more to the end, hop back into the center. And a Bailey, his pommel horse is so improved. It's just great. Good leg break. Good front scissors, back into circles, back more to the end. Hop on the end, loop with a half, just a great set, Doug. I'll tell you, Scotty Johnson is getting to be one of the premier gymnasts in the United States. He's just excellent in every event, and the fact that he's going to score as well as you just saw him on the pommel horse will indicate what type of an all-around performer he is.
Take a look at this again. Scott Johnson.
Good leg work, back into his circles here. He's going to do a backboard to the end. Very strong.
Here comes some nice scores, too.
Nice walk around. Very nice high loop with a half and a good landing. Great set for Scott Johnson.
2 9.5s, a 9.6, and a 9.4. It's a score of 9.5 for Scott Johnson. And it brings Nebraska closer to Iowa State in the team score. Let's, first of all, take a look at Scott Johnson, who did so well there. And Nebraska needed that score. They are now only 2,500ths behind Iowa State. The Cyclones have 90.9, Nebraska 90.65 with that Johnson routine. Oklahoma 86.85 after the second set of gymnastics meet, the pommel horse. And there you see the rings. And that's next in this, the Iowa State-Nebraska Oklahoma gymnastics meet from Hilton Coliseum in Ames, Iowa. I'm Doug Brown with Mike Jackie All-American gymnast and 4-event Big 8 champion at Iowa State during his, would you say, active days on the apparatus?
The golden years of gymnastics, long time ago.
Is that what they were?
It's changed so much, it's just unbelievable, Doug. The skills that the performers are doing now are just awesome in comparison.
There you see the results. The winners tied in the pommel horse are Mike Sims, all-arounder of Oklahoma, and Scott Johnson of Nebraska first, 9.5, and then John Balliff, 9.45.